The film opens with a detective named Danny undergoing a hypnotherapy session to recall the moment when he lost his beloved daughter, Minnie. One day, while Danny was accompanying Minnie in the park, he briefly looked away and lost his daughter. A suspect named Lyle was arrested, but later released due to his mental disability and lack of memory about the incident. The session ends when Danny receives a message from his colleague, Nix. They have just received a phone call from a woman reporting a robbery at Austin Bank for deposit box number 23. From inside a surveillance vehicle, they monitor every move. Amidst the bustling city, a woman sits next to a man named Delrain. After a brief conversation, Delrain mentions how hot the day is and then leaves. The woman suddenly feels very hot, so she undresses and heads towards a fountain to cool off. Meanwhile, Delrain talks to two officers and then proceeds to the Austin Bank. Seeing this, Danny goes to the bank and arrives there ahead of Delrain to find out what he's really looking for. Together with a guard, Danny opens deposit box number 23 and finds a photo of Minnie inside. Meanwhile, Delrain, who has just arrived, mentions that it's already late in the day, prompting the bank personnel to close all services immediately. With two hypnotized police officers, she proceeds to the storage room and opens the deposit box that Danny had previously accessed. Using a car, she drives away and deliberately crashes the vehicle, causing it to overturn and rendering herself unconscious. It's at this moment that Delrain takes the box and leaves after placing an explosive device, which later detonates, destroying the car. With his two colleagues, Danny pursues Delrain up to the roof of a building. However, just as they are about to apprehend him, Delrain claims that they are capturing the wrong person, causing the two officers to lose control of their thoughts. Delrain states that the officers have lost consciousness, much like Lyle, revealing to Danny that the man before him is the one who kidnapped his daughter. Suddenly, the two officers release shots at each other, and Delrain seizes the opportunity to escape. They begin to trace the phone number of the woman who reported the incident and discover the location of the Paranormal Shop, owned by a woman named Diana. That evening, Diana is conducting a hypnotherapy session with a man. When Danny arrives, Diana ends the session to speak with him. Unbeknownst to them, a man approaches the client outside. Danny introduces himself, explaining that he's not there to arrest Diana, but they are suddenly startled as Diana's patient, who had been hypnotized, forcefully smashes through the shop's door. He is critically injured and ultimately dies. In the interrogation room, Diana explains how the hypnosis used by Delrain works. Delrain controls a person's mind, making them forget what has happened, ensuring that no one remembers the event or even his presence. Nix, who is skeptical of hypnosis, challenges Diana. She demonstrates the illusion by having Nix act like a prisoner and then instructing him to leave. Danny is slightly taken aback, but Diana reassures him. She tried the same illusion on Danny, but was unsuccessful. Danny couldn't be influenced due to a psychic barrier in his subconscious mind created by the pain of losing Minnie. However, Delrain may still possess higher abilities that could potentially penetrate this psychic barrier and influence Danny. While in the yard, Delrain suddenly appears before Nix. Shortly after, Nix returns, but not in full control of himself. He draws a weapon, forcing Danny to shoot him in the leg and then restrain him with handcuffs. However, this doesn't resolve the situation as Nix continues to advance, causing his hand to be injured by the handcuffs. Diana, believing that Nix won't stop until he fulfills Delrain's command, ultimately shoots Nix, killing him. As a result, Danny finds himself in a position desired by Delrain. He becomes a fugitive, accused of Nix's death. Shortly after, a police officer arrives, discovering their location. Diana quickly intervenes, instructing the officer that the perpetrator has fled north. Upon exiting, they realize that Delrain is waiting to capture them. Fortunately, Danny manages to divert Delrain's attention, providing Diana with the opportunity to take a car, and they escape to Mexico to meet Jeremiah, who is Diana's mentor and will help them capture Delrain. There, Jeremiah explains that Delrain harbors ambitions of becoming the most powerful among them, which is why he stole a device called the Domino. Domino is a device created in their lab capable of controlling even the strongest hypnotists. After stealing the Domino, Delrain erases all his memories to prevent others from knowing what he has done with it. However, before wiping his memories, Delrain leaves a trigger in his subconscious that will guide him to find clues, which could be in the form of photos, writings, or other hints to help him regain his memories. Danny suddenly produces a photo of Minnie, which may be one of the clues intentionally left by Delrain. At this moment, Jeremiah appears eager to see the photo, raising Diana's suspicions. It turns out her suspicions were justified, as the man before them is actually Delrain in disguise. They quickly try to flee, but upon reaching the outside, they realize that most of the townspeople have been influenced by Delrain's illusions, leaving them cornered with no escape route. Danny attempts to resist as Delrain tries to control his consciousness. In a surprising turn of events, all the officers turn their weapons towards Delrain and escort him to the police station along with them. Danny begins to feel uneasy about what's happening and starts questioning his true identity. To answer his questions, Diana takes him to River, where they access Danny and his wife Vivian's identity data. It's here that Danny learns that his wife is a secret agent. That night, while Diana and River are asleep, Danny accesses Diana's data and discovers that Diana has another identity as Vivian, revealing that Diana is his real wife. The woman he had in his memories all this time was just an illusion implanted in his mind. Danny then searches for the name Domino and discovers that Domino is another name for his daughter, Minnie. Minnie possesses the most potent hypnotic power among all hypnotists because she was born to 2 hypnotist parents. Danny recalls the moment when he had a conflict with Diana because she wanted Minnie to be brought into the division to develop her potential. But Danny, wanting a normal life, disagreed. He actually took Minnie away from the division members. Then Danny erased all his own memories to eliminate any traces and prevent them from knowing where he had hidden Minnie. Soon, Danny realizes that everything that happened to him isn't real, and this place might be an illusion. Then Danny suddenly awakens to the fact that he is actually in a room with Diana, Nix, and several other people he has seen before. Delrain is the head of the division working on the project to unlock Minnie's potential. Everything that has happened to Danny so far is an illusion in the 12th reconstruction process they created to unlock Danny's memories and discover Minnie's whereabouts. After the failure of the 12th reconstruction, they reconfigure Danny and start the 13th attempt. Danny begins the cycle again, starting with waking up in the therapy room, and then Nix takes him to deal with the bank robbery. While recording, Danny remembers the name of a street that he had implanted as a trigger in his subconscious, and he regains his consciousness. He takes a car and drives to the location to pick up Minnie, being pursued by all the division members. Upon arriving at the location, Danny is greeted by Carl and Thelma, who are Danny's adoptive parents. Inside the house, Minnie is eagerly waiting for him after years of longing for her father's arrival. Shortly thereafter, Delrain arrives at the location, and without much warning, they eliminate Carl and Thelma. Hearing this, Danny steps out, calmly facing Delrain and Diana, who continue to persuade him to return to the division. At that moment, Danny requests Diana to come back to him, as he believes that Diana has been lost in the illusion created by the division. Danny then calls for Minnie. Seeing Diana, Minnie embraces her mother with great emotion. Minnie tries to awaken her mother by explaining that in reality, Diana and Danny worked together to take her away and escape from the division. Instantly, Delrain is taken aback, realizing that all along, they were the ones who had entered and lived within the illusion created by Minnie. The farmhouse itself was an illusion, and even the deaths of Carl and Thelma were illusory. They arrived and eliminated all the division members without any resistance. In reality, they were in a location surrounded by cliffs with no way to leave. Everyone perished except for Delrain, who was left alone. With just a gaze, Minnie made him lose control, causing Delrain to repeatedly shoot himself until he died. Afterward, Minnie helped her mother remember how the division members began to realize the immense power Minnie possessed. She could control anything with her mind, even with her eyes closed. This power is what drove Delrain's ambition to have Minnie within the division. However, Danny and Diana didn't want to involve Minnie in the division's activities. They desired a happy family life free from the division's constant surveillance. That's why they agreed to entrust Minnie to Carl and Thelma, erasing all memories, but leaving behind some clues to help them remember Minnie's existence. All memories were erased except for the memories of Minnie and the instinctive knowledge that they loved each other deeply. So, even when they were eventually caught, the division members couldn't find Minnie until she grew up and felt mature enough to control her powers. They brought all the division members to Minnie and eliminated them entirely. In the end, they were able to choose the life they wanted. Danny, Diana, Minnie, and Thelma left the location by helicopter, while Carl stayed behind to clean up all the chaos. However, shortly after their departure, Carl approached Delrain, revealing that the man still alive was Delrain, and the one lying on the ground was the real Carl, who had actually died. Delrain had managed to survive and escape, and the movie ends. If you like this video, don't forget to subscribe, because by subscribing you have supported me to make better videos. See you in the next video.